Darren Rovell, and welcome to another Buyer's Market presented by eBay. We have a big show tonight. We are honoring the late, great Kobe Bryant, inducted into the Hall of Fame last night. We are going to have David Kohler of SCP Auctions and the owner of the Lakers Shrine, one of the most impressive collections of a single team I have ever seen in my life. He's going to talk about what he collected from Kobe, what Kobe meant to the Lakers franchise, obviously a franchise that is among the most storied franchises. And we are going to give away a Kobe Bryant canvas. In order to win that, you need to retweet our tweet and follow the Action Network HQ on Twitter. But first, I'm going to talk about my relationship with Kobe Bryant, since I think I need to. Kobe and I really met in earnest in 2006. When we exchanged numbers. He was roughly halfway through his career. He said, obviously he knew that I was doing business and he loved to talk about business and wanted to get into business. And it was just amazing to see over the course of the next, essentially 10 years, how much he absorbed business and tried to be the best businessman ever while he was still playing up until, 2016. So I couldn't believe what he was and how hard he wanted to be a great businessman, whether it was reading Harvard Business School case studies, having me introduce him to people, going into meetings and shocking people. People thought he was just going to sit there, and the way he asked questions, his curiosity. I mean, he was like almost as good at business as he was on the basketball court. And I think that manifested itself later in life with Dear Basketball and getting that Oscar and going into a book series and doing all the things that he had done, investing in body armor, which he's going to basically 100x by the time that sells. Just an unbelievable job. And I think some of the tragedy of Kobe, a lot of it actually is that, yes, we had his basketball career, but there was so much more from him. And now we're not going to get it. As everyone knows, I'm a collector. There's a collecting show. I would say that I do invest in things. Every time I buy something, I think about how I could ultimately sell it. And most of the Kobe stuff that I have is just off limits because it's my relationship with him. So here's a couple special items. I have Kobe on the cover of Forbes magazine in 2000. He was 21 at the time, and I think he had as much pride being on that cover as he would if he were on the cover of Sports Illustrated. From very early on, he wanted to be respected as a businessman, as much off the court as on. This is something that's really special. This is Kobe's credential from the 2008 Olympics. I was there in Beijing with him, and he dedicated a lot of time to Asia once he signed with Nike. And I think not only did they love him because of his championships, but they loved him because he was one of the first athletes to give time to the people in Asia, to fly the 13 hours over there and go to China and Japan and all the places that Nike eventually went to with a lot of other stars. Aside from Yao Ming and Michael Jordan, he was number 3. So that was amazing. Then I have a couple tickets. People know I like tickets. We have his 81-point performance, his career high against the Toronto Raptors. I do like this one. This is his torn Achilles. Just goes to show you the fighter, the Black Mamba mentality of Kobe Bryant. And even though he had torn his Achilles, he didn't go to the bench. He actually went back and shot free throws. And then finally, I love this ticket. This is Kobe's last ticket, being at that game where he scored 60 points in his final game. It was amazing to be there. And to have this signed is something very special. On eBay, there is a landing page where you can check out all the Hall of Famers, including Kobe Bryant, and buy some things that are on there. Over 600,000 items over the last year have been bought on Kobe Bryant. Over 3.5 million searches for Kobe Bryant's rookie card. That 1996 Topps Chrome card has really taken off. Once again, our giveaway to win the Kobe Bryant canvas, retweet our tweet on this show and follow the Action Network HQ on Twitter. David Kohler has been a longtime friend of mine. He is in LA. He has SCP Auctions, the great auction house, and he has been collecting Lakers memorabilia for as long as I've known him, for sure, 25, 30 years. He essentially has this barn-like structure where he has everything from George Mikan glasses to Jabbar glasses to Magic, and these guys have even shown up. And when I knew I was doing this show, I knew he was the guy to talk about Kobe Bryant collectibles. He has some very special pieces, and we are sitting down with him tonight. And joining me now is David Kohler, president of SCP Auctions and the owner of the most magnificent team collection of any team. Just happens to be the Lakers. He's joining us from his Lakers shrine. David, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for rearranging a little bit. I see plenty of Kobe jerseys, and those have not been purchased at a store. Those are all real. So tell us, on occasion of Kobe being inducted in the Hall of Fame, tell us just some of the stuff that you have.
Well, we're sitting in we call it the Laker Shrine. It's the largest collection of Laker memorabilia in the world. It's been compiled by myself the last 35 years, starting actually with the beginning of the franchise in Minneapolis Lakers, all the way through obviously when they moved to Los Angeles in 1960, all the way through Showtime in the 80s to obviously the Kobe Bryant era and Shaq, and all the way to the current team with the championship team with Lebron and AD.
And as far as Kobe goes, how collectible has he been? Obviously, a huge part of so many titles. When you stack them up against Mikan and Jabbar and Magic and Shaq and just all the great Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, obviously all the great Lakers, where does Kobe fall?
I mean, Kobe's right there, obviously, and within the Lakers Shrine collection is one of the biggest collections of Kobe Bryant that I've collected over since the beginning of his time with the Lakers in 1996 and all through his 20 years of being on the Lakers. But Kobe's right up there. Obviously, we can all talk about, you just mentioned all the greats of the Lakers, and there's many, many of them, but certainly he's right up there, and top legend of all time, top five. We can name a few of the other players, of course, but Kobe's right there, and his memorabilia is in such demand from collectors actually worldwide.
Some of that has to do with China. I know when I was there with him in Beijing in 2008, I couldn't believe, I mean, he was as big as Jordan, I would say. And a lot of that has to do with he went over there and visited, but also that they have respect for championships and they value their champions. But as far as stuff that you have, pieces that you have, I see you have a rookie jersey there. I see a couple.
Oh, yeah. Sure. I mean, a lot of the stuff I was getting in the year, or within a year of him playing. So yeah, I have his rookie jersey, home and road. I've got many of his jerseys, obviously number 8, and then obviously when he went to number 24, game worn jerseys. I have some of his throwback jerseys, which I really cherish. I have his MPLS with the shorts that he only played in one game in 2002. I really love that piece. And even I have in 1996, when they did the top 50 NBA players, they played a few games, all the teams, in throwback jerseys. I even have Kobe's with that from the shorts, number 8.
It's amazing. And I see you have the body armor towel. The story goes that he, of course, had a deal with body armor. Gatorade had the deal with the NBA, but it was his last game anyway, so he didn't care and put on that body armor towel throughout the game, had it on at the end when he said Mamba out. You were there, I was there. I really like that towel. I think I probably lost out to you on the bidding of that, but that's a really nice piece.
Yeah, again, another piece I really cherish. We call it the Mamba out towel. And I mean, what a way, your last game to score 60 points. It was amazing. And not only that, to win the game also, which is most important. And to have that towel, and obviously he had about a 5-minute speech after the game, and to have that around him. And I just cherish having that in the room. A lot of people that visit just go crazy when they see that. They want to take pictures with it, and yeah, it's just it's phenomenal.
What has his death done to either how people feel about him? I think a lot of people think about what he did towards the end of his life as a businessman, as an author, as a father, and molding his daughters. What the fact that he died so young, what did that do to the fandom, the relationship that fans maybe didn't realize they had with him, the memorabilia?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, a lot of people paid attention, unfortunately, from the disaster that happened and the accident, and I'll never forget that day. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people obviously they think everyone's going to be around forever, and when we lose him tragically like this, along with his daughter and 7 other people, people obviously have an attraction to looking at his amazing career on the Lakers. I mean, all 20 years there, winning 5 championships, 18-time All-Star, MVP. What I think the fourth all-time scorer. I mean, it goes on and on and on. So certainly his memorabilia is in very much in big demand. Certainly his autographs, that authenticated, of course. All these things have a lot of interest. And again, it's not just Laker fans; it's basketball fans. And again, it's not just the U.S. It's worldwide.
And you would say the rookie, I mean the rookie eights or rookie shoes. There's a focus on rookies and debuts. We've seen it in tickets too. Would you say from a jersey standpoint, that's the most coveted? I don't know how many finals jerseys we've actually seen, but are they out there?
I mean, there's a few out there. I have a couple. People they love the number 8. Sure,
They
certainly,
do.
like
They
any.
do.
They do. They like the early stuff, but again, number 24. I mean, there's so many people that grew up, and it's interesting a lot. My son's 24, and all his friends. I mean, they grew up with Kobe Bryant. That's what they know, and that's what they follow. And certainly, I'm older, so there's other players that were before that. But I love that he was on one team, certainly the Lakers, his whole career, because as we know, a lot of these players bounce around to a lot of different franchises, and I just love it. It's old school that he was a Laker his whole career.
Quick story. I think about the stories that have defined my journalism career as I look back, and one of them is breaking the LeBron Nike shoe deal, and another one is breaking the story that Kobe was going to change from 8 to 24. I got a phone call from someone very close to the Lakers, and normally we had a two-source policy at ESPN, and the news editor would ask you, privately who your sources were. And I said, I have one source on this. And they said, we can't do this. This is a humongous story. And I don't think I realized how big of a story it was at the time, because I mean, obviously he was changing his number, but like, I think this is when people started really buying jerseys and really caring about this stuff. And I said, this source is really tight, really, really close. And they said, okay, go with it. And of course, turned out to be true. It's just amazing how many people just talked about that story, and there was still a mystery surrounding it. Like, why was he doing it? Was it one more than Jordan? Was it, why did he want to change this up? Was it because, and by the way, I still believe this is the case, that he changed it because Adidas was coming out with these crazy eights, and he had moved on to Nike, and didn't want that them to be able to do what they were doing, kind of associating with him without paying him. But that was a definite story.
Yeah, the number 24 and 8. I mean, I don't know the whole plan there, but it was about the midpoint of his career, which is interesting. And of course, I have his high school yearbook, and he was number 24 in high school. So maybe, yeah, he was. So I'm sure there was some thought with that also. And yeah, no, it's incredible, this man's career and what he did, and it certainly he had another whole career, in other areas that was going to follow, but unfortunately, that's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
that defines the tragedy just as much. It's not only about his playing career. All right, last question for you. I know you don't give up items. Really, you don't really sell much. If there's an item that you would never sell from your Kobe collection, what would it be?
That's a really tough question. Wow, that's really really hard. I mean, certainly his rookie uniform I cherish. I have his rookie shoes. I've even got a unique piece. I have his cast that when he broke his wrist in his rookie training camp at Malibu playing pickup ball. You know, I even have that cast.
That's
And
see that's amazing. And if you want to go back and see something, and we'll put this up on the screen, the most famous draft day or draft magazine cover or picture was the Slam magazine picture, and he has his arm behind Ray Allen or one of the guys
yep.
because he has a cast on it.
Yeah, I had that cast, so that's certainly an interesting piece, along with his throwback rookie uniform that year. You know, many things signed. His 81 point ticket signed. I have a couple of those. Or certainly his last ticket. I have a few of those that he signed. And I got to meet Kobe a few times. Always really, really nice. And he knew about the collection. Unfortunately, he never got here. Many other players have been here. You know, Magic Johnson many times, and Jerry West, James Worthy, and a lot of the Minneapolis Lakers. George Mike was here 20 years ago, and so on. So, yeah, he's the a legend. That's pretty much all you can say.
David Kohler, SCP Auctions, owner of the Lakers Shrine. Thanks so much for sharing what you have with us. And Kobe, just even as a person, as a player, I think people feel something different with him than they feel with some other players. And I think that's one of the reasons why he has become so collectible. They feel like they need to own a piece of the magic that he brought into their lives.
Yes, absolutely, and that will continue for a long, long time, decades, in my opinion.
Our thanks to David Kohler for sharing his collection. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Saturday night, especially the speech of Vanessa Bryant. She is amazingly strong. She not only showed that publicly at Kobe's funeral at the Staples Center, but just last night, what an unbelievable speech. And she really just showed how much Kobe meant not only to the fans, but obviously to her daughters and her as well. The one thing that I think the fans in the stands and certainly the viewers at home enjoyed was her recalling of how Kobe said that he always had to get out there because you never knew if that fan was in the nosebleed seats paying for to see him that one time, and that's why he wanted to play no matter what. It was truly special, and I loved being there. So that's the end of our show, but we have a giveaway, the Kobe graffiti giveaway that we have, and the winner is Jamie Nelson at JOwenAK on Twitter. Congratulations, you're the winner. Our people will get to your people, and you will get that awesome piece. For Christina Ventura and Evan Abrams, and for eBay, make sure you check out the Kobe Bryant and Hall of Fame landing page on eBay. It is still up. This is Darren Rovell, and we will see you next week on the Buyer's Market, presented by eBay.